Well, welcome, one and all, to another episode of the Question Live Show with your host, Verona Willis-Brown. And that is more. Yes, indeed. Welcome to another episode. Tonight, we are going to go into some stuff. We are going to go tick, 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 ticking, and watching the clock. How many times do we watch the clock? We watch the clock when we go to sleep. We watch the clock when we wake up. We watch the clock when we are at work. We watch the clock when we are going to lunch. We watch the clock all the time. Tick, 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 ticking away. And when we want to go home from work or from school, we watch the clock. Yes, indeed. And there is a clock that we should watch, and that is our own time clock. Yes, indeed. We should be personalized. I'll talk about this all the time. Everything about us is personalized, so we should be watching our personalized clock. The clock of time, the clock of saying what is it that we are accomplishing. The clock that's saying that we are working on our purpose. The clock that's saying that we are going towards our destiny. The clock that's saying, what are we doing with the entire 24 hours that we supposed to have? And I always believe that we have more than 24 hours, honey. The way I work, there are more than 24 hours I got. I don't know about you, but I got more than 24 hours. Or sometimes I believe time just stop on behalf of me to accomplish some stuff. So if you believe time is stopping for you, then hey, let's join the wagon together. Yes, indeed. Let us join this trail for life together as we work towards succeeding. Let us work towards achieving. Let us work towards acquiring our dreams and our goals. Our dreams and our goals are waiting for us. Whether short term or long term, it doesn't matter. Time is saying we gotta use up time. We gotta utilize time. We gotta utilize time. So tonight we are gonna go into some ways of how we are gonna use time. It's time to wake up, wake up, wake up. Yes, indeed, wake up time. You know, we look at time like, hey, it's time to wake up to go to school, time to wake up to go to work, but it's wake up time for our own purpose. It is wake up time for our own goals. So let us snap, and wake up. Listen, just like I'm like, it's always say, it's time for my fan, it's time for my water, it's time for my juice. It's just time. Time is important, time is essential, time is just valuable, honey. And we should never take no time for granted. We should never take nobody's time for granted either, because time invested is just that what it is. Time invested. So let us use our time wisely and get going. So with that said, that is just a rundown of how we're going to go into tonight's episode. So listen to me here. Listen to me. If this is your first time tuning in, first time, never heard of the Question Last Show before, never heard of Verona Willis-Brown before, never heard of the Are You Free Enough platform, I want to say to you, you are special in my eyes and in my heart. I want to say to you, welcome, welcome, welcome to this episode, because you showed up here as a first time. I actually just put this stuff in the comments like it's your first time, because you showed up as your first time today. Tonight episode is especially for you, especially for you newbies. You are considered newbies. Yes, indeed, you are considered newbies. And I like to see when the newbies showing up, and I like to see them like wave as a first time. And not because I want to just like put you on the spot like it's your first time. But I put you on the spot because we get excited when there are new people coming in here. We get excited knowing that you coming in like the new baby of the family. Yes, indeed, like the new baby of the family. And we like the new babies coming up in here. Yeah, we get excited. I try to get you to let you know that we have extra excitement for newbies. So if this is your first time, I want to say welcome, 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 welcome to an episode of the Question Live Show. Now, if this is not your first time tuning in, it's not your first time. Simply means second, third, somewhere along, somewhere after one time, you are a returning audience. Absolutely. And because you are a returning audience, I welcome you, because when you show up, I show up, we show up together, the whole What Big Family do we have here. Yes, indeed. And for those of you who've been here, you know, I'm from a big family, honey. Yes, indeed. I'm from a big family. So I like big family. I like all of that excitement. I'm like, woo, excitement, this happening, that happening. I like to know what you're doing. I like to update on you. Yeah, all that good stuff, you know, big family like that. They're like, oh, so what you doing? What that doing? And then all that stuff. So I like to see when you come on in, because now what happened? Now we are one big family, and that just shows I'm used to it. Yeah, I'm used to all that excitement. So yes, indeed. So I want to say to you, welcome as well. Now listen here, for those who are returning, you already know what time is it at this time. This time is saying only for the newbies. Here, I just want to let you know we do have some rules. We do have some rules here. Now, when I say rules, don't let your mind go sketchy or your art go flatter, because I say rules. Rules are everywhere. When you come to my house, I go to your house, you go to church, you go to school, you go to mass, you go to the temple, you go to the synagogue, you go around the entire world. There are rules. Yes, indeed. Some we make, some we break, some we abide by, some we like, whatever. But let me tell you something. Here on the Question Live Show, we only have a few of them. Absolutely, there's a few, and we call them house rules. Yes, indeed, we call them house rules. And because we call them house rules, how many of them? You may ask, because you know the show is called a Question Live Show, so you're entitled to ask question. How many rules? Only five. 5 rules that we go by. You don't gotta abide by them, honey. No. There's no mandatory nothing up in here. You can pick 1 or you can pick 5. It is up to you. There's no judgment. There's no mandatory nothing up in this space. This is a safe space where we don't pass no judgment, and whoever show up in here. So let us go over them really, really, really fast. The first rule is, and of course this goes for everybody, but because returning audience, they already know the rules, they know what to do. First rule is, if you are watching this, yes indeed, and you wave to me and put your name in the comment section and saying, hi, I am present, I'm here, greet somebody, greet me, hey, and I see you over there doing that. And this is my way to acknowledge your presence by going over to the chat and click on your name and spotlight you on the screen. Now, if I spotlight you on the screen, simply means you are in the live audience. And if you're in the live audience, all I ask you to do is to just go over there. Nope, right here. Right there in that middle. You see the word? It says share. Click that share button and invite somebody else to come on in and dine with us. Honey, let me tell you, sharing the live is like sharing yummy, fresh food that just come off the stove or out the oven, the one that your mama made or your papa or your granny or somebody made. But guess what happened? It's so good that it became your favorite meal. And if something is your favorite meal, that means it tastes so good. So you would like to share that, yes, indeed. And if you don't know, we subconsciously share every day, whether with the ants, the rat, the roach, the dog, the cat, the worms, the birds, nature, we share every day. So let me tell you something. When I say share, I don't get so scared or scared. When I say scared, when I say share is normal. We hear this all the time, okay? Sharing is scary, but we're going to talk about that. And now listen, if you are watching this and I did not spotlight your name on the screen, most likely you are watching the replay. If you are watching the replay, go in the chat, go over there and hashtag replay and let us know what is it that you learned right here, because on this show, it is a learning platform. So whatever you learn, maybe you learn a thing or two, whatever it is, put in the comment section and let us learn. Because what? We are students and teachers at the same time, and we have the same intention, and that is to learn, to teach, and to grow. So let us put something in the comment section that somebody who's coming to watch this, they will learn a thing or two. Absolutely. So put in the comment section, what is it that you learned? And let me tell you something. If you are watching the replay, you just get the same benefit by going over there. Right there in the middle, you see the word share. Click that share button and invite somebody else to come on in and dine with you. Yes, indeed. Sometimes it's just not good to eat alone. No. So guess what happened? The replay is like sharing leftover food. Sometimes you have to have some leftover food, and when you warm up that leftover food, it's like you're cooking the food twice. And twice as nice, honey. Hello, you want to share that with somebody too. Yes, indeed. We hear this all the time, that sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. But listen, that sounds so cliche, and that sounds so watered down. Sharing is caring. People use it so fluidly. We are not into that. I just want to encourage you and remind you that sharing is a part of our DNA, and caring is a part of our DNA too. So we want to put those two together and ignite a whole galaxy of carers and sharers, because the world needs people to care and the world needs people to share. So come on in and share. Come on in and have the mentality that you're going to share something. You don't got to share monetary stuff. Sometimes when we say share, we're thinking about sharing our money. But it's not about that. You're sharing your time, your space, your love, your smile. You're sharing your passion, your purpose. Yes. So when we say share something, we're not just talking about sharing your wealth. No. So many people need your time. So many people need something else. Maybe a smile. So many people need a word of encouragement. So many people need a prayer. So share is important. Share is essential. So let us come on in and share. So now that's rule number 1. Rule number 2. Let me grab mine. Grab yourself something to write with, whether it is a pen, a pencil, a marker, a crayon, whatever it is that you write with. It could be a piece of feather. If it is a piece of feather, you need some paint, some ink to dip it in and to scrabble away. Where? In a notebook or a piece of paper. Absolutely. And if you don't have that, you want to go on your electronic device and you want to scroll on through and find that blank page and utilize that blank page. Yes, indeed. That's why they created to use it, word process, whatever. But if you are watching me on one device and you have another one called your cell phone, you want to go in there as well and you want to scroll in there and find that blank page. And if you don't have a blank page in your cell phone, I don't know. You might want to text back to yourself. Yes, indeed. Text back to yourself, because I don't know why you don't have a blank page, but that is none of my business. You might want to just text back to yourself. Now, listen to me. The show is called the Question Live Show. So if you have a question to say, what is it that you're telling us to write down and text back? Good question, good question. As your host, I am responsible to answer your question. Now listen. And this show, the Question Live Show, we drop juicy contents and golden nuggets, and I encourage you to write them down. Yes, indeed, write them down for several reasons. When we write things down, we extract the very thoughts out of our head and we put them on paper. And now it becomes reality, because now it's looking right back at us and we can't run away from it. No matter how much we scrap, do all that stuff, it's looking right back at us. And we will like to manifest our very thoughts, our very dreams to reality. And that's why I'm here as your host to encourage you to write things down. Yep, indeed, write things down. And listen. When you write one word down, that one word can stretch into a sentence and another sentence. And those sentences can go into paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. And those paragraphs can equal to pages and pages and pages. And as a result of all those pages, you might just end up with a book. Yes, you might just end up with a book. And not only a book, you might just become the next published author. And I welcome you with your work, your story, and so we can work together, grow together, but most of all support each other. Yes, indeed, I am ready to celebrate you. Now listen, next one is, the next rule is, oh, wait, that was number 2. Write things down. The next rule is let me grab mine, sorry. The next rule is grab yourself something to drink. As you can see, I changed my bottle today. Grab yourself something to drink, whether it is water, wine, tea, juice, soda, popsicle, whatever it is. It could be some soup, some broth, some shake, some smoothie, some porridge, some whatever it is that you drink. Yes, indeed. Grab that. And when you grab that, you're going to put in the comment section that you are drinking something. Listen to me. I don't know what is it that you're drinking, and it's none of my business anyway. But I ask you to put in the comment section that you are drinking something for several reasons. When you put that you are drinking something, it is a form of support. Yes, it is. One, even though I said all those things that you're supposed to be drinking, I like to recommend that you drink water. Drink water, because water quenches your thirst, it flushes your body of toxin, and it flourishes the skin. Yes, indeed. But let me tell you, usually I come with my water, but today I come with, anybody recognize this? A thermos. Yes, indeed, because I have my tea in this thermos. Yes, indeed. But water is it, because let me tell you something. I believe in water. I believe in water. We should have water. We should have a lot of water. Indeed. There's a recommendation for the amount of water that we should drink. But I'm just saying, just drink water. Just drink water. Drink water. It is important that we drink water. So yes, indeed. So listen to me. When you come in and I say, or that you're drinking something. Let me tell you the reason why I say that is because here we like to celebrate. Yes, we do. We like to celebrate each other, whether it is your small win or your big win, whatever the case is. We like to celebrate you. So whatever is it that you are celebrating, maybe it is your wedding, your birthday, your anniversary, your husband, your wife, your spouse, your boo, your whatever is celebrating something. We would like to celebrate with you. Put in the comment section what is it that you're celebrating. Maybe you met somebody. Maybe you found out you're pregnant. Maybe you just had a baby. Maybe you got married. Maybe you got proposed to. Whatever the case is, we would like to celebrate you. Maybe your country is celebrating something. Maybe your culture is celebrating something. Whatever the case is, we are all about celebration, because celebration is a form of support. And what we do, we support each other, because that is the journey that we are on. We are all on this journey called success, honey, and we need to support each other. Yes, indeed. Hold hands, celebrate each other. Now, listen to me. I met a man. I met a man. And the man, you want to hear the story? The man turned water into wine. Yeah. He turned water into wine. And that's why I like to show with my water, you know what I'm saying? He turned water into wine. He went up in somebody's wedding. I didn't meet him at the wedding. No. I met him at the wedding. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He went to somebody's wedding and they ran out of wine, honey. And he's like, don't worry about it. Just give me some water to drink. And when he saw drinking the water, he's like, ding, ding, ding. This needs something. This needs to spike up. And he turned the water up into wine. And they're like, ooh, yeah, you, my friend, we like you. You can come to all our wedding. Yes, I like the man. So anywho, that's the man. He's a miracle worker, because let me tell you, because he's a miracle worker, I get up every day and I believe that there's a miracle going to happen for me, whatever the case is. Let me tell you, your water don't got to turn into wine, but you must get up with the mentality that a miracle is going to happen for you today. Get up with that mentality that there's a miracle about to take place in your life, in your family life, in your community, in the world. We must have that belief system that a miracle is about to happen. So drink up your water. And another reason why I asked you to drink something is because here I'm the one, you see, I'm doing all the talking back here, honey. Talk. I don't got time to stop and go drink water or drink tea or drink juice. Because if I stop to drink all of that, I'm going to leave you hanging and I'm going to be running to the bathroom. No, I don't want to leave you. I left you for a couple of weeks and it's like, oh my God, I left you. But come on now, come on in. No, I don't want to do that. So just drink on my behalf. It's a form of supporting me. And I really appreciate you supporting me. Every time you show up, it is a form of support. And I really, really appreciate you. Now, with all that drinking, let me tell you something. First of all, before I get to the next one, let me tell you something. Another reason why I like to tell you to write things down, because you see, we as writers, we like to write our own story and attempt to write yours. But let me tell you, it is not as effective as you writing your own story. Absolutely not. Because you know what? We all got a story deep down inside of us that somebody's waiting for. How many of you know that our story is not really ours? It's not really ours. And somebody's waiting for us for a solution, for a smoother situation. So somebody is waiting for our story. So I encourage you to write your story down. You don't got to make it into a book, but extract it out of your system. That's why I'm here to encourage you to extract your story out of your system, darling. Yes, indeed. Extract your story out of your system and let's roll. Now let's go. Next rule is, if you need to use the bathroom, whether it's to the right, to the left, wherever your bathroom is located, honey, please go now. And then you're going to come right back and grab your seat. Yes, your seat is reserved. Your seat is reserved right here in the Question Live Show. Yes, indeed, with your name on it. Wherever you're going to wear and a seat is reserved, your only seat says reserved. But no, your name is on that seat. And not only your name, but your intention, your expectation, your goals, your gift, your talent, your passion, your purpose, and your destiny. And inside of all of that is your greatness. And that is how we are operating from our inside out. Yes, indeed. But if you went to the bathroom and if you come back and you don't see your seat, don't you worry, nobody took your seat, darling, because nobody can take your seat call in this life. Nobody can take your seat. It might get crowded and then you're like, oh here, you might need some flashlight or something, but nobody can take your seat. So if you get here, just stand in position, because guess what? There's always a position for you to fill. Absolutely, there's always a position for you to fill, darling. Yes, indeed. Why? Because we are all on this journey called life, and we all want to develop a success story. However you define success, it's up to you. Me, I define success story in a different way. However you want to define success, let me remind you of something, that no one can succeed by themselves. Absolutely no one. Whether you're the president, the prime minister, the vice president, the governor, the mayor, whoever you are, the teacher, nobody can succeed by themselves. So we need each other. So whatever position we fall in, make sure that you got somebody. Last time we talked about the circle that we have, the relationship that we have. So let us know that the circle and the relationship that we are building, we need each other. So, ladies, you know that anywhere that we go, there's always a line to the bathroom. So if you're outside and there's a line to the bathroom, scoot yourself to the side. I'm like, excuse me, can I use the bathroom? Use the bathroom, and then you're going to come right back. Yes, indeed. If there's a line at your house, we need to talk. But anywho, the next rule is really, really, really small. That if I say something and it resonates with you, whether in your mind or in your heart, put yes in the comment section. Yes simply mean that you are aligning yourself up with this conversation, and it is a concrete evidence that this is not a monologue, but this is a dialogue, which is a conversation between you and So I want to say to you, thank you so much for listening to the rules of this show. They might so long, but don't you worry about it. You can pick and choose whichever one you want to choose and whichever one you want to apply. So with that said, I just want to say to you again, welcome to another episode. And I'm going to go into the audience, and I am going to welcome those who are in the audience. Tonight, I see Paulette is in the front row. She's right there. Listen, Paulette is a VIPer. She's a VIPer. She's at the door. She's knocking. She's like, listen, I am front. I am first. I'm right here. I am present. Welcome. Great evening to you. Some of you, it's morning time wherever you are. Morning, noon, or night. It don't even matter, because God is so good. He gave us 2 days in one, honey. The 23rd, the 29th, and the 30th at the same time. What a God this is. Yes, indeed. So we want to say great evening, great morning to you. Oh, great. Yeah, it's evening and morning. So if you have evening, we gotta see what day you are in. So yes, indeed. So Paulette is celebrating the gift of life and family. I will believe. Yes. That gift of life and family. And y'all know what I do when we start celebrating. We like to celebrate. This is my celebration. This is my little celebration hand, because my two little hands need more clapping hands to celebrate. Say, yes, this is a wonderful thing that we got to celebrate life. When we wake up, we did not wake up ourselves. The clock did not wake us up. Absolutely not. The plan that we planned to go to work or school did not wake us up. The plan that we planned to go on vacation did not wake us up. Whatever we planned did not wake us up, honey. So let me tell you, as you see the title says the clock is on and it is ticking. What is the clock that we're talking about? We're talking about the clock of time. We're talking about the clock of succeeding, the clock of achieving, the clock of expectant, the clock of urgency. We have an urgent clock ticking on our inside, going after our destiny. And if we don't follow this clock, Lord knows we are wasting time. And we are not here to waste time. So tonight we want to go over some ways. We want to go over some ways of how to wake up and watch this clock, how to wake up and utilize the time. Time is of the essence, people. We might hear this before, that time is of the essence, but no, literally, time is of the essence. If you don't realize, again, we are buy one, get one free in days. It is Wednesday and Thursday at the same time. Some people are celebrating the last day of November 2023. So don't you see? Time is important. Time is of the essence indeed. Some people are in the 29, like myself, in the 29. So let me tell you something. Time is really of the essence. The clock of time is clicking. What have you done within the past 11 months? That is the time. What have you accomplished today? That is the time. That is the clock that's clicking, clicking, clicking. What have you done? Yesterday is gone. So what did you accomplish? Clock is ticking. Let us put into consideration the clock is on. The clock of our life is on. And it's time that we look at the clock and don't just stare at it. Let us not just stare at the clock like, oh, okay. No, let us not just stare at the clock, but let us utilize the time. Because let me tell you, when the clock go click, 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 it goes around and around and around. Let me tell you something. At some point, it's going to stop. Not the literal clock, but the clock of our life is going to stop. And when the clock of our life stops, what's going to happen? What did we accomplish? Nothing. No, we don't want our clock to stop where we say we shoulda, coulda, woulda, because we don't live with those family. We don't entertain that family. We don't entertain the shoulda, coulda family, okay? That's a whole family by themselves. So if our clock should stop right now, what have we done with our time? It is very important that we stop to evaluate our life clock. They usually say when a woman gets to a certain age, like, oh, your biological clock is ticking. Your biological clock is ticking. For a certain age, you get in like biological clock is ticking. What are they saying? They say that your time to have a baby is winding down. You know what I'm saying? Your time is to have a baby. You going over age. So when they're looking and telling that your biological clock is ticking, honey, let me tell you something. They're telling that you better start having a baby now. That's what they say. Because otherwise you are falling out of the clock of having a child. But I mean, who determine these things, but whatever the case is. But anywho, we want to talk about waking up to the clock. Click, 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 click. Click, click, click. We watch the clock when we are going to sleep. We watch the clock when we wake up. Whether the clock is on the wall, whether the clock is on our phone, whether the clock is on our stove, on our TV, wherever the clock is, we watch the clock. Oh, it's get up. Time to go to work, time to go to school. We watch the clock. No matter what happened, we are watching the clock. But I want to inform you tonight that when we are watching the clock, let us be aware that we have to wake up. If somebody's watching the clock for us, we gotta wake up. Oh, it's time. It's clock is clicking. Time for me to fix my hair. When somebody else is watching the time for us, what is it? They say maybe it's our mama, maybe it's our father, maybe somebody, maybe our guardian, whoever it is. They're watching the time and like, excuse me, it's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. So we want to be careful of who is watching our own time. We want to watch our own time. Sometimes people watch our time, and time was like, oh, it's time for you to get married. Oh, it's time for you to have children. Oh, it's time for this. Oh, it's time for that. Somebody else is telling us it is our time. No, we should be telling ourselves it is our time. It is my time to be blessed. It's my time to be successful. It's my time to live in abundance. It's my time to create. It's my time. It is my time to wake up. It's my time to wake up. So we have to tell ourselves that it is our time. Watch the clock. Watch your own personal clock, not the clock on the wall. But that's it. Watch your own achievement clock, your own success clock, your own purpose clock. We gotta watch this time, our passion clock. So when we watch this clock, we have to wake up. And how we wake up? We click on the light. When we wake up, there's a light. They say that a light bulb goes off at a certain age. Boy, oh boy, I think that is really true. I think when I got to a certain age, the light bulb went off, and I was like, woo! Time to move in a different direction. The light must come on. Yes? Audience, the light must come on. We gotta have that. We gotta have that light on. Once we wake up, we see the clock. We got to switch on that light. We got to switch on that light. Let us not walk in darkness. Let us not walk in darkness, because guess what? We are the light. And because we are the light, we are our own light. And because God is inside of us and is radiating, we are the light that needs to shine. So when we walk up and we're like, oh yeah, we are aware of the time. Come on, it's time to shine. So we must come to understanding that when we start saying, oh, the clock, click, 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 tick, 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 we walk up and we just did not wake up just to like, we wake up to shine. So let us put that light on, and the light is from the inside. The light is our passion, our purpose. Let us burn that light, honey, so what? We can ignite each other. My light should not be outshining your light. Your light should not be outshining anybody about outshining. It's everybody putting on their own light. And that is what we need to do when we watch the clock and wake up. So let us wake up and put on the light. When we put on the light, what happened is because we are coming now aware of what is happening. We are now aware of why we are here. We're not aware of why God woke us up. So we want to put on the light, our light, and we want to be aware that we have a purpose here to do. We just did not wake up because we want to look cute, okay? Yes. So we want to do that. And the next thing what we want to do when we wake up, when we watch the clock, because our clock must be on. Our clock must be ticking. Our clock must be ticking. And when the clock is ticking, we must know that we should be living on purpose. We should be living on purpose. Your purpose is different from my purpose. We have a sole purpose as individuals, as collective human beings, and that is to serve and support each other. But individually, each one of us have our own purpose. So let us live as if we have a purpose. We're just not living because, hey, I got to go to my job. Oh, I got to be a mom. We got to be a wife. Oh, I got to be a sister. I got to be a brother. No. Let us seek to find what is our purpose and live on purpose. When the clock is ticking, it's saying live on purpose. When the clock is ticking, because when I'm telling you, when the clock draw, you go tick, tick, tick. And when the clock comes in our life and say, that's it. Mind you, the regular clock is going to keep on going. But our time clock, when it shuts off, we gone. So let us get into this mode. Let us get into this place of consciousness. Let us be aware that our clock is on. It is ticking. Our clock is ticking. Our clock is ticking. Our clock is ticking. So let us consider this. Our clock is ticking. We just didn't get it because our clock is ticking. And our clock is ticking to live on purpose. Live like we have a purpose here. Don't let's live and put your feet up. Let us live as if we are living off our purpose. We are feeding off our purpose. We are feeding off our passion. We are living as if this is it. I can't breathe. I can't do nothing. I gotta do this. I gotta live on purpose. Otherwise, the clock is going. Everybody got a clock. Everybody got a clock. So when we are watching the clock, guess what? We are not just watching the clock, but we are going to take action. We are going to be active. We are going to be active in our very passion. We are going to be active in our purpose. We are going to be active in the drive. We are going to be active with a drive to go towards a goal. We want to set a goal, whether it is short-term or long-term. We want to set a goal, and we want to be active in achieving that goal. If you set a goal that you want to do something by the end of 2023, honey, are you taking action? If you are not taking action, how do you expect to achieve that goal? You gotta go into action. Put on the action gear. Boom. It's like a fireman go into a house that is on fire. And he's just like, the house is on fire. And he's just looking at the house. Oh, the house is on fire. He's just looking at the house. No, a fireman rushed to a house that is on fire and just like, shoo! He dived right on in. He turned on his hose. He did something. He does something to quench that fire. And it's the same thing happening here. We have that clock ticking. It's ticking away. Do you know that every clock has the same sound? If you don't believe me, go listen to your clock right now. If you got a clock on your wall, listen to the sound of that clock. If you don't believe me, go to somebody else's house and stand next to their clock. It's the same sound. Same sound. So we all got a sounding clock on. There's a clock going on inside of us. So we got to understand this, that we are not just here. Okay? We are not just here. The clock is sounding. There's an alarm sounding. And it's saying, let's go. The alarm is saying time is winding down. It is going around like that. It's going around like that. It's going. And it said, time is winding down. What have you done? What are you going to do with this time that you have remaining? You don't know about tomorrow. What have you done today? I want to live my life so much that when I leave here, I'm like, woo, Lord. That must be saying, girl, go back. Oh, that must tell me, go back. That girl, no. I want to live my life on purpose, that if today is my last day, I'm like, yes. I watch my clock. I look at my clock, I clear on my clock, and I did all that I could do for that day. Okay. So we got to be mindful of the very clock that is ticking inside of us. And when we are doing that, another thing that we would like to do is, when we are doing all of that, we would like to seek and walk in wisdom. Seek and walk in wisdom. We might accomplish something. We want to accomplish something. And, you know, oftentimes what we do, we share too much information. And because we share too much information, you know what I'm saying? That's not wisdom, honey. You got to be careful, because you see, when the Lord was walking, the Lord just show up somewhere. It's like, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes what we have to do, we have to hold our mouth. Hold on to some information. Don't give every information. Don't just open your door wide and it's like, hey, come on in. This is that. No, we got to seek and walk in wisdom. That is where we become a wise person, not just smart, not just knowledgeable, but wise. We need wisdom, because if we don't need wisdom, honey, we gonna dive on into some stuff. It's like, I go back to the fireman. The fireman don't use wisdom. He's gonna like, hey, I'm just gonna dive in there without no gears on, no nothing. There's a fire. I'm a fireman. I'm gonna save the cat. I'm gonna save the rat. And I'm just going to dive on in that burning house without no protective gear. So when we are operating with wisdom, we are using it as a protective gear for the very gifts and talent that we have inside of us, because we all got gifts and talent, honey. Yes, indeed. We were all born with gifts, and we develop some talent as we go along. So let me tell you something. We want to use wisdom as a protective gear for the very gifts that God gave us. Yes, so seek and walk in wisdom. It is very important that we understand this. Wisdom is the key. We don't just sit there and watch somebody, and then when we watch somebody, we just like, oh, yeah. I talked to you about the story about the cat and the dog, where the cat and the dog got the bowl of porridge, and the dog was waiting for the porridge to be cool. And he's like, I'm just going to go to sleep while the porridge is in the sun, and it's going to cool by the time I wake up. While the cat was like, okay, you go right to sleep, brother dog. And the cat just sat there, look at the bowl, and just started licking. He started licking around the edge of the bowl. And what happened? Because he licked around the edge of the bowl, the porridge was finished. Well, that shows you how to eat your porridge anyway. But wisdom. You don't leave the cat with the bowl of porridge and go to sleep. No. No, no, no. The dog ain't have no wisdom, but we have wisdom. We gotta seek for wisdom. So yes, indeed. Seek, walk, and seek for wisdom. Next thing I want to encourage you to do, please stop idling. Sometimes you see some people like this, and they just go in, and this is it. Don't have your children just scrolling like this, just scrolling all the time. Don't have your children doing that. That is idling. Don't have them living a life to idle. Okay? Stop idle. Get your time and invest in it. Listen, girl. Let me tell you, the dog was like, the dog done went, lay out, fully snoring, sleeping, gone by. And the cat was like, okay, thank you. We gonna work this out. By the time you wake up, by the time the dog woke up, the bowl was empty and the cat was like this. The same way. They ate the part and went right to sleep. And the dog got up hungry. Got nothing else because the master was not going to feed him again. No, 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 no. So, as Paula just said, watch with one eye open, honey. Do your thing. Set your goals. If you're sleeping, sleep with one eye closed, one eye open. Yes, indeed. I used to know of some people who sleep with their eyes open. Lord, they were watchful. Be watchful. Be watchful. Be mindful of the very goals, of the very dreams, the very vision that's given to you. So yes, as Paula said, the dog should have watched with one eye open, slept with one eye open, honey. And that's how you develop some form of wisdom. You gotta keep watch. Keep watch. Watch the circle. Last night we talked about the friendship that we have, the circle that we have. What are those people feeding you? Excuse me. What are those people feeding you? Yes, indeed. So we got to be watchful. We got to be watchful. So yes, indeed. Poor dog. So now the dog get up, the dog sitting there trying to find something to eat. Like, hey, yeah. So now we talk about don't idle. Don't sit and create an idle life. Sit there and just look like brother dog. Get up hungry and just look like brother dog. Like, oh my God. Don't sit there and just walk and just snuggle in the dirt. Don't sit there and just sit there and look over yonder. Don't sit there and look over the mountain. Don't sit there and look. Do something with the time. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Do something effective with time. Have effective communication. Build effective relationship. Have effective create ideas. Well, we don't have to create ideas. Ideas are already in our mind. Ideas are already in us. Let us extract those ideas. And the other thing I would like to encourage you to do as well while we are doing all this, develop a sense of faith. Faith is just faith, okay? Faith is when we take good risk on ourselves. That is what faith is. Faith is saying that we are trusting God because God said, I don't know when to tell that your clock is going to stop ticking, but your clock will be ticking somehow. But God is saying, I gave you something. Have faith to extract the very things that God gave us. And if we start extracting the very things that God gave us, we are taking good risks. When we take good risks, we're stepping out of what is it that we know. The very things that we learn, sometimes we got to step away from it and take good risks. The very places that we say we're not going to go is the very place that we need to go. The very people that we don't want to talk to are the very people that we need to talk to. Honey, take faith, okay? Sometimes you got a fear, take faith and step over that fear. Let me tell you something. I talk about it. I don't know if I talk about it on here, that I had a fear of roach. And the roach was dead. And my fear of the roach was so bad that I'm like, I'm not even touching the roach. The roach is dead. But I had faith. I developed faith. I'm like, listen to me here. The roach is dead. You got to go. We got to tap into that faith source. We got to go into that bank of faith. Faith is like a little bank. You got to go in there and withdraw. You know, sometimes we don't want to withdraw our money. But let me tell you something. Faith is a currency. Faith is a currency. Let me tell you this right now. Faith is a currency. And we got to go in there. We got to withdraw faith, honey. We got to withdraw every single waking moment that we get. We got to go and have a withdrawal. We have to have a withdrawal of faith and use faith every single day. As the clock is on and ticking, we need to use faith every day. We need to get up in there. We need to get up in there, and when we get up in there, we go into the bank call life and we go and withdraw some faith. Yes, indeed. Do a big withdrawal. Do a big withdrawal today. They said, listen, it is written that if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you know what is a mustard seed? A mustard seed, oh Lord, a mustard seed is like this big. I can't, mustard seed is so small. A mustard seed is so small, smaller than a sunflower seed and a pumpkin seed. It's so small, but if we just get a little withdrawal of that faith, you see that we can accomplish so much more, because now that faith allows us to step into category, put ourselves into category, put ourselves into places that we never thought we would be. Yes, indeed. Faith like a mustard seed, we can accomplish. Move mountain, we can move mountain. Yes, indeed. And let me tell you, if we just go and just withdraw a little bit of that mustard seed faith, I have to come up with a fan. When we go and make a withdrawal of a mustard seed faith, honey, let me tell you, you don't know, we can accomplish so much with a little mustard seed faith. Yes, indeed. The clock is ticking. We need to have faith to go into the next moment, the next day, the next year, the next season, our season of reaping, our season of planting, whatever the season is. We need faith to do all of that, because when we withdraw the faith, it is showing us that we're expecting something. So we need to withdraw faith. Let me tell you, faith is a currency, okay? Faith is a currency. We want to go and make a withdrawal and faith. Yes, indeed, because what will happen? We are in a place of expectancy. We are in a place of expectancy. And because we are expecting something, we want to know that we are not just looking at the clock. We are utilizing the time, because right now, let me tell you, it's a rush. It is an urgency for us to look inside of ourselves to see that which is inside of us, which is what? Greatness. Let me say that again. It is greatness that lies inside of us. So if it is greatness in us, it's time for us to look at the clock, know that the clock is on. The clock is ticking. The clock is on. The clock is not off yet. It's not off. Because let me tell you, if we sit down in our bed in the morning and we know we need to get up at 6:30 and we are going to roll over, we're going to look at the clock, we see 6 o'clock, we might like, oh, it's 6:30, I need to get up. Oh, if we are going to bed, we need to go to bed at 10 o'clock, we are going to like, oh, it's 9:55. We are going to be looking at the clock at all times. We're going to go on our cell phone, we look at the clock. Whatever device that we are looking the clock on, whatever device we are watching the clock, let me tell you, we got to start looking in the mirror. And when we look in the mirror, we should see our own clock that it is ticking. The clock of life is ticking. It's an urgency. It's an urgency for us to come into full alignment. It's an urgency for us to come to full awareness. It is an urgency for us to come to a full consciousness that our clock is ticking. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not promised. No way, no how we know about tomorrow. We might want to plan as much as we want. Yes, indeed, plan as much as you want. But today, we must know that our clock is ticking. They say we got 24 hours in a day. Honey, let me tell you something. I know. Because within that 24 hours, I'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, I try to sleep. They say sleep for 8 hours, 10 hours. How can you... If you go to a regular job, you go there for 8 hours. If you go to sleep, they say sleep for 8 hours. 8 and 8 is 16. Let me tell you something. I was never good in math. I was never good in math in school. But I tell you something, if you tell me to go to work for 8 hours, then to sleep for 8 hours, I got a remaining time or something, right? I got remaining time, and because I got remaining time, I got to use that time somewhere along the line. I got to use the remaining time. So if 8 and 8 is 16, we got some more time going. We got some more. What is that? 8 more. Whatever the time is, but we got some more hours. Okay, sitting somewhere. So the clock is ticking. Let us stop and evaluate our day. Let us stop and don't just sleep, because we are sleeping. Let us not just sleep. We hear the clock ticking, but we are still sleeping. The clock is ticking on the wall, and we hear the clock is ticking. You're in school and the clock is ticking. You're excited. You want to leave school. You're at work and the clock is ticking. You want to leave work. Listen, but there's a clock of our life that is ticking away. It is going. It is going. So let us not just keep on sleeping, because so many of us are sleeping on our purpose. So many of us are sleeping on our passion. So many of us sleeping on opportunity. Let me tell you, the longer we sleep, we are going to be missing some opportunities. Honey, there are opportunities waiting for us to fulfill our purpose. There are opportunities waiting for us to meet people, to develop relationships. There are opportunities waiting for us. But if we just close our eyes, tighten our eyes, no, the clock is on. Do you know? Have you ever heard of people? I never did that. Like, I think it's so disturbing. You have a clock, and when you have that clock, the clock, just set the alarm on the clock, and the alarm goes off, and you're like, bang, bang. You clock it, you're knocking the clock, saying, no, you need to sleep some more. Huh? And then you sleep some more, but it's you that set the time that you want to wake up. But it's not the time that wake you up. It's God that wake you up. God woke you up, and when God woke us up, He said, I got a purpose for you. I got a purpose. It's not the clock, because guess what? If the alarm went off and you were dead, the alarm would still go off. So guess what happened? Let us take into consideration that the clock of our life is on, and it is time for us to take some good risk on ourselves. It is time that we bank on ourselves. It's time that we bank on our purpose, bank on our destiny, because guess what? The clock is yours. And because the clock is yours, tick, tick, tick. Will you be all right? Will you live in regret if your clock goes off and you did not accomplish anything? I'm just asking the question because it is reality that the clock will go off somewhere. It is on right now, but at some point, the clock will go off. I refuse to live in regret, and I encourage you to not live in regret. So make every day count. Add up every day and look at your clock, and don't just watch the hand going around and around and around. Because if you watch the clock constantly going around and around and around. It's just going like the sun, going around and around and around. But at some point, your clock, my clock, our clock on life will go around, but it will stop. Will you be ready? Will you be filled? Will you be empty? What will your day be when the clock stops and goes off? I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Question Live Show. Again, don't be like Brother Dog that sit there and say, I go to sleep and I'm going to stay sleeping until my porridge is cool. No, 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 no. Go into your purpose. Today is your day. Your reminder that your clock is on. Yes, your clock is on. If you got to wipe off your clock, if you got to put in some battery, if you got to plug it in, whatever the case is that you got to do for your clock, just make sure that it is on. And don't only look at it, but make sure that you use up time and use it wisely. Use up your time and gather. Gather is like a harvest. Let me tell you, I want to remind you as we close that it is an urgency. You know they talk about urgent care or emergency? This is an urgency upon your life that you tap into the fact that your life is valuable. Your purpose is valuable. Your gifts and talent is needed in this world. What will you do with your time? Thank you so much for tuning in into this live episode of the Question Live Show with your host, Verona Willis-Brown. That is me. See you tomorrow, same time, same place, as we continue these sessions. That's just me saying that. I don't know what God is saying. Whatever God says, that's what God says. We just gonna go with the plan. Talk to you later. Have a great life. Don't forget, check your clock. Check your clock. You know what I'm saying? Check your clock. Bye.